Kaidon Salter came back and played his butt off. He had a couple downs, but the majority ups overshadowed the downs, and he made some plays which a quarterback is going to have to do off. What's the correct? Off script. There you go. Off script, and he just made it happen. The timing was impeccable, and made some big throws, some big runs, especially the run at the end, and that's the guy. That's the guy that we wanted to see and that we're seeing, and I'm glad that you're getting the opportunity to see him at his best.
All right, there it is. We just heard from Coach Prime after Colorado's 37-20 win over Wyoming. The story of the night is QB1 Kaidon Salter balled out tonight. Damn near 400 yards of total offense, 4 total touchdowns. And Coach Prime was pleased, right? He said his timing was impeccable. He was like, that is the guy that we wanted to see. And that's really, Jake, who this whole fan base has been waiting to see. A performance like that, Kaidon Salter delivered tonight.
I mean, 4 total touchdowns, almost 400 yards. I think he answered almost every question you could have possibly had about him, the last 3 weeks, everything that was going on. Also, he emerged as a leader, I think, for this team, too. The team's kind of been dying for that. And what a time for that to kind of expose itself and happen. When Jordan goes down, Kaidon really balls out and has this game to solidify the QB1 position. This is as good as it could have gone for Colorado against Wyoming tonight.
We're not fatigued. We condition our butts off. It's intensity and focus. When you lose intensity and lose focus, those things happen, because it's not like that other team is losing that, because they're down. They're trying to get back in the game, and they want opportunity, and they're on national television. So that's on us, man. Trust me, I just let our team know how I felt about that in the second half.
Final score not exactly indicative of how dominant Colorado was at points tonight, and that's something you just heard from Coach Prime right there. He's happy with the results, but not exactly happy with the finish, right? Colorado kind of let their foot off the gas a little bit there at the end, particularly defensively, right? Wyoming running back Samuel Harris had a 50-yard run, finished with over 100 yards rushing. This team does need to finish better. That's something that could potentially come back to bite them in Big 12 play. So it's good that Coach Prime is on it right now, and that's at the forefront of their minds at this moment.
Coach Prime has a lot of favorite words. Expeditiously.
Yes, tremendously.
Another one, though, dominate.
Yeah, for sure.
He wants his teams to dominate every game they play. And while the score is, 17 points, you cover and all that, that wasn't domination out there, man. They left a lot on the table. Kaidon Salter left some on the table. The defense definitely left some stuff on the table. The penalties, I mean, whatever you want to say about them, whether they were true penalties or not, you can't have those, and that really hurt the Buffs at certain times. So I totally get where he's coming from, and also this is just a great launching point too, right? I mean, ideally, you have not played your best game yet, especially in the month of September. That has to come later down the line. So it's a process of stacking days, stacking games, practices, all that. I have no doubt that dominating performance is going to be coming sooner rather than later.
Update: Jordan Seaton, Simeon, and DK. They're cool. They're good. I don't think. Prayerfully, we shouldn't lose anyone for a couple of weeks, but they went out to take care of themselves, and we're praying they're going to be okay.
Another story coming out of tonight is a list of guys who were injured. We saw Jordan Seaton leave the game early, didn't return in the second half. Zyde Crisler left the game early. So did Simeon Price and DeKalen Taylor. But even with all of that, you heard it right there. Coach Prime said he's not really worried. He said all those guys should be cool. None of those guys should be missing extended, weeks of time. And it also brought up the depth of this team, right? Something we talked a lot about this offseason, right? Jordan Seaton goes out, Kareem Harden slides right in there. Larry Johnson is back in there. Andre Roy. They played 4 different offensive tackles tonight. A couple injuries to running backs. Dallin Hayden is back healthy, and you should probably expect to see him going more. But the depth of this team is something we talked a lot about this offseason, and we saw why it's so important tonight.
We talked a lot about it. Coach Prime talked a lot about it. He said, we may not have the 2 superstars in Travis and Shedeur that we had last year, but we have a better all-around football team, and that's what we saw out here tonight. There were some moments of struggling, but the guys really rallied, and I think it's, we talked to Reggie about it in the pregame show yesterday, and he was talking about how seeing Alex McPherson and London and those guys, how it really kind of energizes everyone. And when you see that happen on the field in games that matter, man, I can't imagine what it does for this team. It's a great sign for the future, great sign for the rest of this year, man. The Buffs are only going to get better from here on out.
The Buffs are back to 500 at 2-2. BYU is up next. They'll be right out here in just less than 7 days. We'll have you locked up until then. We'll see you then.